I'm a historian at a fancy university, Duke University, and so one of the weirdest, most intense problems I had after getting diagnosed with stage 4 cancer was not just like how do you manage having cancer, but what do I what do I do with my life? As a woman in her early 30s, that was a really pressing, intense question because that was go time. That was performance time. That was the time to be ambitious. If I had my life back, then it was supposed to be that I would write a bunch of books and then get tenure, which is like a permanent job, and also magically have as many children as I was supposed to have in the lady window. I think that's scientifically what it's called. And it was a time with so many intense decisions, and so cancer put into stark relief a question that I didn't know if I had an answer to, which is if you only have a limited time left, would you still work? Would you still want to go to the office and do what you do? And at first, I think my answer surprised a lot of people because, especially as a woman, the gentle, not very implicit suggestion was that I would want to spend all my time at home with my family. And I am obsessed with my family. So, of course, you want to pour back into them. But I've been also working towards something my whole life. And so the question was, well, should I even want to still work? And what I realized was that it was so tied up with a sense of what is work for? Are we called to something? What gives our lives intense meaning? And it turns out that I had been training my whole life to do something that I wanted to do anyway. And maybe that's what calling feels like, is when you get to exercise something that feels like a gift that you'd want to keep giving, even if you knew it wasn't going to add up to something. So I I wrote this big, long, ridiculous history book that 500 people read, and I would do it again. Because what I learned in doing it, and I wrote that book in hospital waiting rooms, and sometimes even I'd be like hooked up to like an infusion, a chemotherapy infusion, and I would be interviewing somebody in the cancer center with my little clipboard and my pen because doing it gave me joy. Doing it felt like I had learned to be myself in the act of it. So that has felt always like a lesson to me of how I want to always live, which is what would you do when it might not count, when maybe no one's watching, but you do it because it is one of the best parts of who you are. And for women, yeah, your family is one of the best parts. Your friends are one of the best parts. Who you are in the world is the gift you can give, and also the badass you were trained to be. So that's pretty great too.